Hello, everybody, and welcome to Atheist Sunday School, your one-stop shop for everything Atheist Sunday and school. And boy, do we have a show for you today. Today we are covering Jeremiah chapters 7 through 9.
And they're not too long. They're kind of long.
Yeah, longer than average chapters, unless we're talking about something like Jubilees.
Yeah, and none of them is over 35 verses, so not bad.
Yeah, but they're a little on the longer end, I would say.
Oh, well. I have the King James Version of the Bible.
I have the English Standard Version of the Bible.
We also have the Hebrew Bible, a translation with commentary by Robert Alter.
We also have the Hermenia translation and commentary on Jeremiah, and this is from Holiday, I think.
Yes.
William Holiday.
And we have Eerdman's commentary on the Bible.
Yes, we do.
With Jeremiah's section by Diamond.
Yeah, that's right. And he was the really savage one, right?
Oh, yeah, he's savage.
Yeah. That's what that was.
Anything you want to say about what we're doing before we get into it?
I do not think so.
Sounds good. Then let's hop into chapter 7. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying... That's a strange way to phrase that, isn't it?
It is.
The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, stand in the gate of the Lord's house and proclaim there this word and say, hear the word of the Lord, all ye of Judah that enter in at these gates to worship the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, amend your ways and your doings, and I will cause you to dwell in this place. Trust ye not in lying words, saying, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord are these.
Oh, wow. That was, that's kind of a strange thing to say at all.
Yeah, I think that it's like against the high places and stuff, right?
So the triple repetition reflects something like a mantra recited by the people. This is the Lord's temple. I never would have guessed that. And hence, those who enter it to worship have nothing to fear. And then are these. This phrase is a little obscure, but probably refers to the multiple structures of the temple. I'm going to check Hermenia for more on this.
All right. Then I guess I will...
and that was what, verse 4?
That was verse 4.
Fantastic.
And I'll say verse 5 then. For if ye thoroughly amend your ways and your doings, if ye thoroughly execute judgment between a man and his neighbor, if ye oppress not the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and shed not innocent blood in this place, neither walk after other gods to your hurt.
So I actually did find some more stuff on the triple utterance.
Mm-hmm. It's similar to the seraphim, how they say, holy, holy, holy.
Similar, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
So triple utterances are found here and in Isaiah 6:3 and further in Jeremiah 22:29 and Ezekiel 21:32. Nehemiah 1:2 modifies a triple utterance slightly. The repetition in Isaiah 6:3 is part of a liturgy, but Johannes Herman acutely compares the remaining 3 passages to the triple expressions that occur in the beginning of magical texts at several points in the Babylonian collection of such texts called Maklu. It is possible that Jeremiah intended references both to the Trisagion in the liturgy, I think that's how you say it, where the threefold description of Yahweh is proper, and to the, quote, vain repetitions of magical texts where such diction is foolish.
Then will I cause you to dwell in this place, in the land that I gave to your fathers forever and ever. Behold!
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 Ye trust in lying words that cannot profit. Will ye steal, murder, and commit adultery, and swear falsely, and burn incense unto Baal, and walk after other gods whom ye know not, and come and stand before me in this house which is called by my name, and say, We are delivered to do all these abominations? And is this house which is called by my name become a den of robbers in your eyes? Behold!
Behold!
Behold.
Even I have seen it, saith the Lord.
So quite a lot to cover there.
Yeah, it's
He's railing against people who no longer follow the faith. It's like, here's my house, and it has become this pagan's den.
and specifically he calls out different parts of the 10 Commandments, right? Stealing, murdering, committing adultery, swearing falsely, and burning incense to Baal, is worshiping other gods. So that's interesting.
Here there's quite a bit of commentary in Holidays, in the Hermenia commentary for this. So let's where do we even start here? That was quite a lot.
Yeah, there's
so
so much information.
I'll
in the
start from
holiday thing.
earlier. So this is technically part of the commentary on verse 6. So the last if clause is concerned with religious loyalty. Jeremiah uses similar phraseology in his poetry for other gods. Compare alien gods in 5:19 for walk after see 2:5, 23, and 36. But other gods, quote other gods, is a traditional term found already in the Decalogue, as you pointed out, Ruben. And the combination walk after other gods is frequently found in Deuteronomy, but there is nothing in Deuteronomy or elsewhere to match the assonance of this clause. So the specific wording here is different. So the simple phrase,
maybe it's more derogatory.
So I'm going to try to do this in the Hebrew. It's transliterated. So, Erem elm erem le likikum. I don't know. That was probably horrible. So
Show me.
right at the top there, it's transliterated.
I can't read that. That's not Hebrew.
I know it's not Hebrew.
That's like
it's
some
transliterated.
English letters thrown together.
That's what a transliteration
poorly.
is. So the simple phrase sums up a whole world of experience with pagan religious patterns. To walk after other gods is to be loyal to the Baals, or to be loyal to the Baals. To Mesopotamian deities, to other exotic imports, and thus to be disloyal to Yahweh, to whom Israel properly belongs. The last phrase means literally for harm to yourselves. The best parallel is Ecclesiastes 8:9. We love Ecclesiastes here. Man lords it over man to his hurt, which I guess it's almost the exact same phrase, just a couple letters. No one pursues a religious loyalty deliberately to hurt himself. Thus, if he pursues Baal, it is to gain economic security. But it sounds like a fool to me.
Well, what a fool.
Yeah. But ultimately, such pursuits result only in the downfall of the covenant people. Yes, as we have learned. So, and it does continue on here. There's quite a bit. So I'm going to find the next part that's important to our interest, because this goes on through verse 9, right, or 10, or through 11 even.
I stopped reading at verse 11 at the end of it.
Okay.
I'm at the beginning of verse 12.
Gotcha. So we had lots of references here to other gods and other
commandments and shit.
Yeah, and other abominations. And as you pointed out, these go back to the Torah.
Yeah, and the abomination language specifically is in reference to specific sins, right? Like there's a number of sins that are called abominations.
And that was verse 11, right?
Wasn't there also the abomination of desolation?
Yeah, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
I know. I just remember it fondly.
I don't even think we fully
Understood what it was?
No, we didn't fully go over the abomination of desolation.
No.
Because the abomination of desolation pops up in Daniel.
Okay, we'll have to figure out what that is later. Sorry about that.
Okay, so you had robbers, right? In your translation.
Yeah, den of robbers.
Okay. So I just had outlaws.
Mm.
So I mean, it just makes sense, people who have taken one thing,
Like a Mos Eisley type place where it's a hive of scum and villainy.
I love scum and villainy.
Yeah.
All of Warhammer 40K?
Yeah.
So here's some stuff on this is for verse 9. For other sacrifices to Baal, see 1:16, and then he references walking after other gods again. The phrase "whom you have not known," referring to gods, is found twice more in the book, 19:4 and 44:3, and beyond the book, repeatedly in Deuteronomy, but a poetic equivalent found already in Deuteronomy 32:17, part of an old poem, so that Jeremiah is not necessarily imitating the use of the prose of Deuteronomy, since "no" may carry overtones of the covenant, see 1:5. The implication here is that these other gods are ones with whom Israel does not have a valid covenant. Ah, I see.
Of course.
Cheating on Yahweh and his covenant.
With an invalid covenant? Why wouldn't you just make a covenant?
I don't know. I know why. Those guys don't exist.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because they can't move.
Right. Yeah. They're just idols.
Yeah.
So the infinitive absolutes of verse 9 are followed by, I don't know, is that a lamed? I think that's a lamed, right? That letter right there? It's Hebrew. What is that?
It's a wow. Or
Okay.
a vav.
Gotcha.
In
And
ancient Hebrew, it's a wow.
the perfect in the consecutive case, and then you come. The phrase "stand before" suggests standing with respect before a king, presenting oneself before Yahweh as a servant might. And you know what? Thomas Romer has some pretty good ideas about what "stand before" means. Literally just in front of, as it does for a king.
All right.
Yeah.
Getting a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the point is that the temple has been defiled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So why don't I continue on then? But go ye now unto my place which was in Shiloh, where I set my name at the first, and see what I did for the wickedness of my people Israel. And now, because ye have done all these works, saith the Lord, and I spake unto you, rising up early and speaking, but ye heard not, and I called you, but ye answered not. Therefore will I do unto this house, which is called by my name, wherein ye trust, and unto the place which I have given you and to your fathers, as I have done to Shiloh. And I will cast you out of my sight, as I have cast out all your brethren, even the whole seed of Ephraim. Therefore, pray not thou for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear thee. Seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. Do they provoke me to anger, saith the Lord? Do they not provoke themselves to the confusion of their own faces?
So there is quite a bit to cover here. So you have the references to Shiloh and Ephraim, pretty big important cities, or Shiloh at least. But Ephraim here, which is noted here, indicates the northern tribes, which were exiled by the Assyrians in 721.
Yeah, Israel.
And it wasn't even necessarily what happened there during the Assyrian invasion.
Mm-hmm.
You did have people who were exiled, but you also had a good amount that weren't. They were just still there, and they were kind of mingled together.
Yeah.
And then I guess that's when they started whoring after other gods.
Oh, of course, when they mingle with other people and they see, oh, well, this person, didn't develop leprosy when they're worshiping Baal. Maybe what my religion taught me is bullshit.
No, impossible. No, they'll get it eventually.
Eventually.
So to continue on here about the Queen of Heaven stuff, that was what, verse 18?
That was in verse 18. I'm assuming that's to Asherah. It would be to Asherah or Asherah type being. So the Queen of Heaven, or the Queen of the Heavens, is the Assyro-Babylonian fertility goddess Ishtar, associated with the evening star Venus. The Canaanite equivalent is Astarte. The cult of astral deities was especially popular in the last 2 centuries of the First Temple period. There is archaeological evidence that sweet cakes shaped in the image of the goddess were used in the cult of Ishtar. That's nice.
Isn't it? Isn't it nice?
Like Christians, like the Catholics get these shitty, like, paper thin
Wafers,
crackers.
yeah.
Yeah, and those are no good.
They are gross.
They suck. If you had like sweet cakes.
Well, of course, it's somebody's body. Of course they don't taste good. So they make these cakes in the shape of the goddess. So one should note that the Masoretic text has Meleket, work of, instead of Malkat, queen of. But that is almost certainly a pious euphemistic alteration by the Tiberian grammarians in order to avoid the suggestion that there could be a queen of the heavens. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's always a fun one.
This verse 19 is like really sarcastic.
Yeah, and before we get further on, more on this Queen of Heaven stuff. This is from Holiday. So lexicographers understand the Hebrew word to be a loan word from the Akkadian kamanu, which is the sweetened cake, often baked with honey or figs and often used for cultic purposes. The word occurs in the Gilgamesh epic. It is a type of cake specifically offered to the Babylonian Assyrian goddess Ishtar, as we've just covered.
That sounds awesome. Like, I'm imagining like you have like a simple angel food cake like base, and then you have like honey on top with dates.
I was guessing that they were more like cookies.
Oh, it could be cookies.
I was
but
thinking
they keep calling them cakes.
They were like cake can just mean a small treat.
Yeah.
Literally like a slice of it or something that obviously can be a small treat in our time, but they mean just a pastry, I think, with those ingredients. That still sounds pretty good for the time.
Have you had Homentashen?
No.
They're like Jewish cookies that are like triangles.
Oh, those things. Yes.
Yeah. Those things are kind of like what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Where there's like a divot and it has some flavoring in there.
I see. So continuing on here, the Queen of Heaven is assumed by most to be a reference to Astarte, the Babylonian Assyrian equivalent. Ishtar was called Queen of Heaven. The phrase has turned up in a 6th century Aramaic papyrus in Hermopolis, that's in Egypt, House of the Queen of Heaven, but not in a context that identifies the goddess. It has been proposed that Jeremiah is referring to the goddess Anat rather than Astarte, but these two goddesses shared functions at Ugarit, and it would be difficult to contrast them on the basis of such an epithet as the present one. Much less likely is the suggestion of Dahud, that's the dude's name, of Dahud, that the sun goddess Shapash is intended here. A great number of clay figurines of a nude goddess have been excavated from Israelite sites, and it is clear that practices associated with a fertility goddess were widespread in this period.
Mm.
So it could be a wide range of goddesses.
And there are a lot of, ancient Middle Eastern fertility goddesses.
Yeah, so. Yeah. And Queen of Heaven was a...
Yeah,
this
isn't just Yahweh being petty and being like, how dare they call me a woman? like that episode of The Simpsons where Lisa is like, well, maybe it's a girl. And then Marge slaps her across the face.
Damn. I don't remember that episode.
Oh, it's a pretty old one. Anyways, why don't we keep going here? Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, Behold!
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 Mine anger and my fury shall be poured out upon this place, upon man, and upon beast, and upon the tree of the field, and upon the fruit of the ground, and it shall burn and shall not be quenched. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Put your burnt offerings unto your sacrifices, and eat flesh, for I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices. But this thing commanded I them, saying, Obey my voice, and I will be your God, and ye shall be my people. And walk ye in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well unto you. But they hearkened not, nor inclined their ear, but walked in the counsels and in the imagination of their evil heart, and went backward and not forward. Since the day that your fathers came forth out of the land of Egypt unto this day, I have even sent unto you all my servants the prophets, daily rising up early and sending them. Yet they hearken not unto me, nor incline their ear, but harden their neck, and they did worse than their fathers.
Oh, horrible.
Yeah.
So, hardening their neck, I'm guessing that's like stiff-necked.
Stiff-necked.
Yeah. And furthermore, here's a good bit of commentary about some of the parallels of this verse, kind of putting it into history.
Mm.
So the judgment of the ancestors in verse 24 is darker than that expressed in 2 through 3 and 5. There, the pristine loyalty of the ancestors was contrasted with the apostasy of the present generation, while here the ancestors are also apostates. According to the analysis proposed in this study, this message of Yahweh's judgment is to be dated in the period after the king burned the prophet's scroll in December 601. That's BC, of course. Mm-hmm. There are no direct clues within the passage for a more specific date, but there are some indirect hints. There is a close parallel in the diction between this sequence and that of 11:1 through 7, and there is a parallel between these two passages in content as well. Thus both parody Deuteronomy and both attack the people's dependence on sacrifice, which was that was like the first verse of the section, right? 21.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So furthermore on the sacrifice stuff, for the pair burnt offering and sacrifice, see 620, the phrase, here's the Hebrew term that I cannot, maybe you want to try to read this? Because there's quite a bit of Hebrew in here. I want to give it a little shot. There's like 4 words or something.
The phrase mafu all is ambiguous. It may mean add onto, pile it upon. Yasif call, though with this meaning there may be a mefeh too as well. But it may also mean sweep away unto Sifa. There's no Sifa. Could be any one of those.
Okay.
Jeremiah evidently intends the hearers to be in doubt whether they are to pile up burnt offerings or get rid of them. The uncertainty is compounded by the fact that the burnt offering was entirely consumed on the altar and therefore unavailable to supply meat to the worshipers. Does Jeremiah say that the burnt offerings are to be snatched off the altar so the worshipers will have more to eat?
Let's just be clear here. That's for the priests.
Yeah. Or does he say that they're to be piled upon the altar on top of the sacrifices, zivahim, since it is all meat to Yahweh anyway and of no ultimate significance to him? Even
he cares about his meat a lot.
I'm pretty sure he does, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, he just keeps going on and on about it.
All right.
That's all the Hebrew.
Gotcha. All right. I don't really think there's
All right, then I'll continue.
Yeah.
Therefore, thou shalt speak all these words unto them, but they will not hearken unto thee. Thou shalt also call unto them, but they will not answer thee. But thou shalt say unto them, This is a nation that obeyeth not the voice of the Lord their God, nor receiveth correction. Truth is perished, and cut off from their mouth. Cut off thine hair, O Jerusalem, and cast it away, and take up a lamentation on high places. For the Lord hath rejected and forsaken the generation of his wrath.
Yeah, like go back to your high places. I don't want to hear it from you.
Yeah, these people have directly, like word for word, been forsaken by God. Yeah. For the children of Judah have done evil in my sight, saith the Lord. They have set their abominations in the house which is called by my name to pollute it. And they have built the high places of Tophet, which is in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to burn their sons and their daughters in the fire.
Yes, so
which I commanded them not, neither came it into my heart.
So when it comes to the valley of Ben Hinnom, do you remember the other name for that?
I remember that idols were gotten rid of there, right?
That's a different one.
That's a different valley.
Yeah, that you're thinking of the Kidron River.
Yeah, but there was one where they went to the valley and smashed them, wasn't there?
I mean, they threw all the.
I know they threw them in the Kidron River.
Well, the thing that happened at the Valley of Ben Hinnom, it's also called Gehenna. Yeah, that's where they would burn the sons.
Oh yeah.
Where they would pass through the fire. Yeah.
Remember the fires of Gehenna?
And is there historical evidence of people sacrificing their children like that?
You know,
in the Valley of Ben Hinnom?
I've heard it both ways. Honestly, I have heard some people say it was just, a polemical text. And others say that, they were actually doing that, maybe not in quite the same way or not in
well, I know that Jews don't get cremated, for example, right? So could burn bodies to get rid of them.
Sure.
Right.
So on the Ben Hinnom stuff, I'm going to just go through this. Hopefully there's something great in here, but most of this stuff is about just wordplay in general. That's verse 31. Okay. Valley of Ben Hinnom. Yeah, so all that is known about... you got through verse 31, right? That was the one that you just read?
I got through verse 31.
Okay. So the high places of Tophet, which are in the valley of Ben Hinnom. All that is known about Tophet is that he is a god to whom child sacrifices and fire were offered. The vocalization of the name in Hebrew follows that of Boshet, shame. I see. Okay. So that might be some some wordplay there. And so it's probably an alteration to the original pronunciation. The Valley of Ben Hinnom is just to the west of what was the ancient city of Jerusalem. The Hebrew name Gehinnom, through the Greek of the New Testament, Gehenna, came to be a term for hell. Tophet in later Hebrew equally was used for hell. Interesting. So the word translated here, the word here translated the fire pit, conventionally transliterated Tophet, appears in 4 passages. So there's 2 Kings 23, 23:10, Isaiah 30:33. Here, the part that we're reading now, and Jeremiah 19:6-14. So, in Isaiah, the noun without an article seems to be generalized, funeral pyre, or the like. But in the other 3 passages, it has reference to a specific location, which is in the Valley of Ben Hinnom. The Aramaic cognate of the word means fireplace or cook stove. And the Hebrew word doubtless originally carried different vowels. This was the designation given to a place outside the walls of Jerusalem where child sacrifice took place. 2 Kings 23:10 states that the sacrifice was to Molech, understood to be a pagan god, but there is evidence from Punic sources that the phrase may originally have meant as a votive offering. Okay, so that's interesting to call upon the god. And the interpretation to Molech was a secondary development. In short, the Old Testament was by no means clear on the details of the Tophet. Understandably, given the horror with which the practices were held by Orthodox Yahwists. Given that it appears here and elsewhere with the definite article, it seems best to try to translate it rather than simply transliterating it. The valley is variously given. The valley, as the Valley of Ben Hinnom, the Valley of the Son of Hinnom, and so on. Most authorities, following Gustav Dahlmann, identify it with Wadi Arabi, which means valley, Ar-Rababi, the Western Valley, which runs north and south. But other identifications have been proposed.
But it doesn't run east.
No.
The Western Valley runs north and south.
Just the valley in the west.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for.
Okay.
So lots of possible identifications with this valley. The setting proposed for the present passage in the study is early in 600 or soon thereafter. Now, according to 2 Kings 23:10, King Josiah had destroyed the installation at Tophet so that, quote, no one might burn his son or his daughter as an offering to Molech. If that notice is trustworthy, then Jeremiah is here testifying that the practice was reinstated. Bummer.
Oof. Terrible.
Overtly or covertly during the kingship of Jehoiakim. The reference to your way in the valley in 2:23 is doubtless a reference to child sacrifice. So, back in Jeremiah 2:23. Such sacrifice is recorded as having been resorted to by both Ahaz and Manasseh, of course, though the record does not say in what circumstances.
All right.
Yeah, there's quite a bit on this. It's cool.
Yeah, so everything we're reading today is going to be like super Yahwistic. And Diamond goes on at length.
I'm sure he does.
The Yahweh alone movement.
Yeah. Which, I mean, there's so much stuff that's been written on the Yahweh alone movement.
Right. We've commented on it before.
Oh yeah, plenty.
So let me continue then. Therefore, behold. Good job. The days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be called Tophet, nor the valley of the son of Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter. For they shall bury in Tophet till there be no place, and the carcasses of this people shall be meat for the fowls of heaven.
Well, I'm pretty sure that was like the general point
Yeah.
that they were getting across when referencing it anyways. So,
Yeah. And for the beasts of the earth, and none shall fray them away. Then will I cause to cease from the cities of Judah and from the streets of Jerusalem the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride, for the land shall be desolate. And that's the end of chapter 7. If you're enjoying the stream so far, give us a like, subscribe, share it with all your friends so that they can...
yeah, definitely. Sharing this the link to the show is great because people can come in here and you can all chat with them and they can yell at us and it'd be great.
Oh, yeah. And this is where Yahweh abandons humanity.
Oh, man, I love it when Yahweh abandons humanity.
Yeah, he doesn't go off with any other human groups. He doesn't align himself with some other kingdom here, right? He's just abandoning the only human group who he has any connection with.
His chosen people.
His chosen people. So he has no connections. Doesn't give a shit about human beings.
He's done with our shit. That's pretty much what's going on here. All right, so we are now on chapter 8, I believe.
Yeah. And the first 3 verses are one section that the style is not that of chapter 7. They're separate from 729 through 34, which I guess is why they're in chapter 8.
Would make sense. Good job, people who did the chapters.
But there's some stylistic differences that are going to happen right here, so to it.
At that time, declares the Lord, the bones of the kings of Judah, the bones of its officials, the bones of the priests, the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be brought out of their tombs. No!
Yeah, so
how could you?
Obviously a violation of many things. It's like grave robbery.
Here's a bunch of holy people.
Yeah.
The kings of Judah, officials, priests, prophets, and every other Israelite and Jerusalemite. But either way.
Well, the prophets in question, according to Alter, are false prophets, and the kings, nobles, and priests are the ones who have been guilty of reprehensible practices that we just read off.
Oh, right? All right. I guess we'll see if that makes sense. If it just means the bad ones.
Yeah.
And they shall be spread before the sun and the moon and all the hosts of heaven, which they have loved and served. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
They're all objects of astral worship.
Yeah,
so.
Which they have gone after, and which they have sought and worshipped, and they shall not be gathered or buried. They shall be as dung on the surface of the ground. They're going to be like shit on the floor.
Yeah.
Death shall be preferred to life by all the remnant that remains of this evil family in all the places where I have driven them, declares the Lord of hosts.
So there are a few expressions elsewhere in the Old Testament comparable to the phrase death will be preferred to life.
Yeah.
Lamentations 4:9, happier were the victims of the sword than the victims of the hunger who pined away and stricken by the want of the fruit of the field. And Jonah 4:3 and 8.
Ecclesiastes had that kind of stuff too, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's better for me to die than to live. Jeremiah 22:10. Do not weep for him who is dead. Do weep for him who is gone.
Also in Ben Sira, I believe. Like if your reputation was bad, it would be better for you to be dead. I think.
Better not to have children than children who ruin your reputation.
Yeah, seriously. But this is like, your parents have, because your parents have ruined your family name so much that you should feel horrible and that you will feel horrible. You're going to be feeling like a piece of shit. That is what they're saying.
The Hermeneutical commentary says, the thought is macabre but effective. That death should be preferable to life is a thought that flits through the mind of many people from time to time, but that a whole population should succumb to the thought would spell the end of solidarity between the covenant people and Yahweh, the God of the living, that such nihilism was not unknown in the early exilic period as indicated by Lamentations 4:9, but that Yahweh should sponsor it is appalling, according to Hermenia.
Well, I don't know. Ecclesiastes was pretty good.
Yeah.
You shall say to them, and we're on verse 4 now. You shall say to them, thus says the Lord, when men fall, do they not rise again? If one turns away, does he not return? Why then has this people turned away in perpetual backsliding? They hold fast to deceit. They refuse to return. I have paid attention and listened, but they have not spoken rightly. No man relents of his evil, saying, what have I done? Everyone turns to his own course, like a horse plunging headlong into battle. Even the stork in the heavens knows her times. The stork in the heavens?
Yeah.
Is that are they talking about a literal stork, like an actual bird?
The land of Israel to this day is a place to which migratory birds from the north came during the cold season. Thus, God is seen to have implanted in these birds the instinctual knowledge of when to migrate, but Israel lacks all knowledge of the proper order of things.
I see. So it continues on, and the turtle dove, swallow, and crane keep the time of their coming, but my people know not the rules of the Lord. So, yeah, all the literal birds migrating, and by knowing their time, it's like,
Yeah, so the first...
they know when seasons change.
In verse 7, Yahweh uses an analogy from the birds' contrast behavior of birds to the behavior of people. Such discourse draws on the convention of wisdom teaching. Compare the references to birds in Proverbs 7:23, 26:2, and 27:8. And the "what have I done" verse 6 implies a legal context. The related question, "What have you done?" or "What are you doing?" is a reproach formula. See 2:23 and compare also Judges 8:1 and Ecclesiastes 8:4. So, "What have I done?" may be either an appeasement formula, rhetorically suggesting the answer nothing, as in 1 Samuel 17:29 and 26:18, or else meant sincerely, as here, an embarrassed acknowledgement of guilt. Altars says, if they fall, will they not rise? If they turn back, will they not turn? At the beginning of this poetry section here. The formulation is reminiscent of a riddle. The probable sense is, if they turn back to offend, will they really turn back to God? The verb turn back will be picked up with a negative attached to it throughout this here. This occurs in verse... Well, it occurs in one of these things. Refuse to turn back later on.
Okay.
Right.
And I did want to, kind of add on to what you were saying about, what have I done kind of thing. So, the way I was reading it, the interpretation I got was that it's like, I'm not guilty. What are you talking? What did I do? I didn't do anything. Like that's what I got from it. But yeah, I can see like, what have I done is like, oh no, I have messed up royally. But, on top of that, it kind of reminded me of, when people ask, what do you think you're doing? It just means stop. So
what do you think you're doing? See, I phrased it in
stop.
a way that, no, it didn't. I tried to be musical. No.
It's over.
I used different, tonal phrasing. Damn, I was hoping that would work.
All right, so unless you have any more commentary, I can continue.
No, go on.
Okay. How can you say, we are wise and the law of the Lord is with us? But behold!
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 The lying pen of the scribes has made it into a lie. So
the total colon is close to Isaiah 19:11. How can you say ... I am a son of the wise? But it would be difficult to prove any dependence in either direction.
Fair enough. So the basic point is, like, they're saying that they're all smart and high and mighty.
Mm.
Yeah, but behold, the lying pen of the scribes has made it into a lie.
So this is referring either to writing teachings that are turned into lies because they're ignored, or more likely to false doctrines, perhaps pagan influences that the scribes wrote down.
Would make sense. The wise men shall be put to shame. They shall be dismayed and taken. Behold!
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 They have rejected the word of the Lord. So what wisdom is in them? Therefore, I will give their wives to others and their fields to conquerors, because from the least to the greatest, everyone is greedy for unjust gain. From prophet to priest, everyone deals falsely.
So,
we should be bringing this verse into churches and stuff.
Oh yeah, we should. We should be.
And it would be quote mining, yes, but also, they do that shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, see, they should just have a taste of their own medicine.
Of course.
Yeah. They have healed the wound of my people lightly, saying, peace, peace, when there is no peace. Were they ashamed when they committed abomination? No! They were not ashamed at all. They did not know how to blush. Yeah, just felt no shame. Therefore, they shall fall among the fallen. When I punish them, they shall be overthrown, says the Lord.
So this translation, altars, is pretty different. I'm just going to read this off. And they would heal the wound of my people's daughter easily, saying, all is well, but it is not well. They are shamed for abominations they have performed. Therefore shall they fall among those who fall. In their time of reckoning they shall stumble, said the Lord. I will surely sweep them up, said the Lord. For that, the Hebrew involves a pun. I will surely sweep them up. The infinitive asoph, which can mean to gather, as in harvest, sense developed in the rest of the verse, and then asaphem, I will make an end of them. So asoph and asaphem, or asaphame.
Well, it certainly sounds like he's going to make an end of them. When I would gather them, declares the Lord, there are no grapes on the vine, nor figs on the fig tree. Even the leaves are withered, and what I gave them has passed away from them. So all the stuff that he helped them with, it's nothing anymore. It is now barren, at least in terms of worship and all that stuff.
Masoretic text says, "Ya avrum," they will pass them. Hebrew manuscripts, or one Hebrew manuscript, says, "Ya avdom."
Oh yeah, this does actually note
those they shall. I will give to them those they shall serve, and there is some commentary in here.
Yeah, I should point out that this in this translation there is a note that says that the Hebrew there is uncertain.
Mm-hmm. Well, the text, the first and last cola of verbs are difficult to interpret, and any understanding of them must be tentative. Much of the difficulty, it seems, revolves around multiple meanings which the words carry. The first colon is rendered periphrastically by Greek.
What a word.
And they shall gather their fruits, since in Greek the clause is a continuation of verse 10a alpha. It is assumed that conquerors shall gather Israel's fruits. For that sequence of thought, compare Isaiah 65:21 through 22. but there's no reason to doubt that the first person singular verb in I'm assuming Masoretic text, and other versions agree. Vulgate translating the equivalent of I shall surely gather them, and S and T, Syriac and T.
Not 100% sure.
Translator.
The equivalent of I shall surely destroy / consume them. These versions...
Talmud.
I
think.
Maybe. These versions reassure us that the consonantal texts were of little aid in establishing the meaning precisely. It's clear that in some way Jeremiah is referring to Zephaniah 1, 2 through 3. In verse 2 there, Masoretic text offers Asoph Asaph. One notes in passing that 12:4 seems to also be built on Zephaniah 1, 2 through 3. As vocalized, the first word of the combination. Okay, so there's linguistic similarities between that book and this part right here. So I don't know. It's a linguistic mess.
Okay, fair enough.
What I can tell you about this verse.
So to continue on here,
which is why Alter's translation is very different in the whole area. Also, when you finished verse 12,
yeah,
I had a note here somewhere.
Verse 12 was the one that, when I punish them, they shall be overthrown.
Yeah. There is an earlier point in verse 10 through 12. Everything from verse 10 to verse 12 replicates 6, 13 through 15 with a few minor variations.
6, 13 through 15?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It does. Didn't even notice that. That's good stuff. All right. Why do we sit still? Gather together. Let us go into the fortified cities and perish there. For the Lord our God has doomed us to perish and has given us poisoned water to drink because we have sinned against the Lord. We looked for peace, but no good came, for a time of healing. But behold!
Behold.
Terror. That was the end of the verse.
Oh, okay.
Behold terror. So that little section.
Yeah, that was the words of the Judahites, who are now under assault and need to seek refuge in fortified towns.
Yeah, because they're going to die anyways. So, may as well, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it doesn't even really matter. Either way, yeah, Lord's killing them. The snorting of their horses is heard from Dan. At the sound of the neighing of their stallions.
So this is the northern part of the land of Israel?
Yeah, Dan is like the very northernmost point.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. So yeah, at the sound of the neighing of their stallions, the whole land quakes. They come and devour the land and all that fills it, the city and those who dwell in it. For behold!
Behold!
I am sending among you serpents, adders that cannot be charmed, and they
Viper
shall...
serpents.
Viper serpents.
Yeah, this
Nice.
is a double meaning in the Hebrew.
Well, either way, adders that cannot be charmed, and they shall... Damn it. This little ball, he fell over.
Ball's falling. Your balls are falling all
You know
over
what?
the place.
There he goes.
Rip in peace, ball.
Yeah, I don't know if people were aware, but ball broke.
Yeah.
His leg broke. Just like at the... I think it was with Dagon, though.
Yeah.
But just like that part in the Bible.
Just like it.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's
Spooky.
a sign.
Yeah. Yeah, adders that cannot be charmed, and they shall bite you, declares the Lord.
Yeah, so there's a double meaning in the Hebrew. The word for charm, lachash, means whisper or hiss, indicating the whispered formula recited to subdue the snake. But there are also vipers that have no hiss, and that thus issue no warning before they bite.
Scary stuff.
Yeah, man. I don't want to get bit by a snake that doesn't even give me a warning.
I do.
I'm sure you do. Sifoni is some kind of poisonous snake, perhaps the Palestinian viper.
Well, then. That explains this next part. My joy is gone. Grief is upon me. My heart is sick within me. Behold!
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 The cry of the daughter of my people from the length and breadth of the land. Is the Lord not in Zion? Is her king not in her? Why have they provoked me to anger with their carved images and with their foreign idols?
So in verse 18, Alter translates it as, I catch my breath from sorrow. My heart within me aches. He says the verb here, mavligiti, is much in doubt. For I catch my breath from sorrow.
Yeah, and it also says that to compare the Septuagint. So
many have proposed emendations. If the text is correct, it refers to the rare verb havlig, which appears in Job and in Psalms, and may mean something like to catch one's breath, although that's in no way certain. In any case, the form of the word is anomalous and seems ungrammatical.
Wow, you found a rare verb. Good job.
You found it in the wild.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you get to name it.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, yeah, God's obviously very, very mad about all these images and all this apostasy.
Mm-hmm.
The harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. For the wound of the daughter of my people is my heart wounded.
So the people are continuing their desperate lament. Time passes, and there's no sign of being rescued from the plight of exile.
Bummer.
No, they're just screwed because God abandoned them.
Pretty much.
Specifically, word for word.
Yeah. I mourn, and dismay has taken hold of me. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then has the health of the daughter of my people not been restored?
So this verse,
I get what they're trying to say, but it is kind of weird.
The I am in mourning is literally I have become dark.
Oh,
the extended meaning. The extended meaning evidently comes about through the mourner's neglecting to wash his or her person and clothes. There is a glimpse of such practices in 2 Samuel 19:25. The noun...
Joke's on you. I just changed my clothes this morning.
Great. The noun shama may mean a place of horror or a horrible thing, or here the emotion of horror. For the use of grip with an emotion, see 624.
Wait, do you have something on...
The balm in Gilead.
Yeah, so it's verse...
So scholars surmise that in the region of Gilead, to the northeast of the country, medicinal herbs were cultivated for the healer. The Masoretic Rophe, healer, though it makes sense, may be a mistake through haplography. The preceding word ends in a mem, which could have been dropped here for marpe, healing, for no healing, right? That would make a neater parallel to balm. May or may not be the case.
So,
but Gilead's a mountainous area east of the Jordan, roughly east of Samaria. Bailey defines it as a triangular area bounded on the west by Jordan, on the north by a line roughly where the Yarmuk River enters the Jordan, and proceeding east-southeast to the village of Mafraq, on the south by a line from Mafraq, proceeding south-southwest to the point where the river Zerka Ma'in enters the Dead Sea. The territory within that area is uniformly mountainous, or at least hilly, broken up only by the deep canyon of the Jabbok. The identity of the specific balm, Sari, in Gilead is uncertain. It's mentioned again as from Gilead in 46:11, but that reference may simply be a reflex of the phraseology here, and as a part of the goods of a Gileadite caravan in Genesis 37:25. It was sent by Jacob to Joseph in Egypt, Genesis 43:11, and exported from Israel to Tyre, Ezekiel 27:17. The only other occurrence in the Old Testament, Jeremiah 51:8, adds nothing to our knowledge. Greek renders the word, some kind of Greek word, and Vulgate by resna. Both mean resin.
Oh, right here. Cretino.
So it's some kind of resin-based balm that's used for healing injuries.
Something like that.
Probably some kind of mountain flower. It's clear that the word refers to a resinous exudation, probably aromatic from some tree or shrub. There are three main candidates for the identity. The Storks, or Styrax officinalis, according to Hyatt and Rudolph. The balsam, Balsamendaron, or Commiphora, Opabolosmum, and the mastic Pistacia mutica, or lentiscus. Opinion now seems to favor the mastic Pistacia mutica. Such resins are widely used in healing during ancient times. They're not only soothing, but their pleasant smells counteracted the smell of putrefying wounds.
So we can say there's some kind of resin.
Yeah, some kind of resin that smells good.
Okay.
And probably heals wounds.
Okay, fair enough.
Or maybe makes them worse. Who knows?
Just covers them, at least.
Yeah, covers the stench. You know, like that one song, Ring Around the Rosie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, I was going to say, what one song? You got to tell us. You can't make us mind read you.
Ring Around the Rosie, you know, it covers up the smell, right?
No, it's the pocket full of posies that cover up the smell. Come on.
Yeah.
And the ashes. No, that's them dying. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the song refers to, you know, whatever. Fuck off. Okay.
Did you finish?
Yes, I did.
Then do you hear something?
I do hear something. This is
hear
strange.
Strange.
I haven't
thing.
heard this in years.
Whoa.
Behold, I am your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and I want to let all you heathens and sinners know that I support this wonderful episode of Atheist Sunday School. Lawrence and Reuben try their very best to bring you the true glory of the Bible, and they need your help. They have provided links to their Patreon page and other social media just for you. Once again, my name is Jesus Christ, and this is Milwaukee Atheists. The Lord is with them. God bless.
Jesus Christ! Look what you've done! You've taken away Reuben. How am I supposed to move on? How am I supposed to... you know what? That helps a lot. Spider the Ateo, thank you for the $4.99. That's how I move on.
Oh, man, you can move on now.
Yeah, fuck Reuben. Reuben
that was
sucks.
all it was worth.
Yeah. Who needs Reuben when you got $4.99? And remember, to everyone else watching, all of this is going to the 666 drive, which I don't know if you can try to pull it up on the merchandise thing for to pin it. So if you can, it's the one right below it. Yeah, there you go. Yes. All right. So here's our new shirt. We're pinning it to the top of the chat. There it is. Our Drive 666 shirt. So all of the donations will, help with, us producing something crazy. In this case, it will be, us attempting to, we're going to get a thetan meter. We're going to test our thetan levels, and we're going to take on some Scientology quackery. So very exciting stuff. So if you want to see that,
whenever that is.
Yeah.
Thanks, Spider.
Whoa, holy shit. When did you get here?
I descended from super heaven.
Oh my God. Man, I wish I could.
Shout out to Enoch.
Yeah, it's only in 30 Enoch. Man, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh man, I wish I could go to super heaven.
Yeah.
Super heaven sounds way cooler than regular heaven.
Just like in Futurama where they have ultra porn. Only for people who are like 80 or above.
Right. No,
I'm too young for that now. Damn.
Normal heaven, nobody has genitals. Super heaven, everybody has genitals.
Nice.
Everyone is genitals.
Everyone.
Hope that helps.
Horrible eldritch monstrosities. Incredible. Well, hey, share the show with your friends.
Yes.
Do it. Because we're probably shadow banned.
There's a chance. We'll see what happens.
We're probably shadow banned.
Yeah.
Oh. That my head were waters and mine eyes a fountain of tears, that I might weep day and night for the slain of the daughter of my people. Oh, that I had in the wilderness a lodging place of wayfaring men, that I might leave my people and go from them, for they be all adulterers, an assembly of treacherous men, and they bend their tongues like their bow for lies. But they are not valiant for the truth upon the earth, for they proceed from evil to evil, and they know not me, saith the Lord. That's your fault, dude. Like, it is entirely his fault that they're in the wilderness. He abandoned them.
Yes, he did.
Yep. Take ye heed, every one of his neighbor, and trust ye not in any brother, for every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders, and they will deceive every one his neighbor, and will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies, and weary themselves to commit iniquity. Wow, that's paranoid.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Don't follow this advice.
So, if in verse 3 there is a reminiscence of the meaning of Jacob in Genesis, and a further reminiscence of the Jacob narratives in verse 4, then, if you want me to go back to that, I will actually. So just to hit on some of the Jacob stuff, currently trying to find the Jacob stuff in verse 3. Okay, so Jacob, who according to the wordplay in Genesis 25:26 and 27:36 deceived his brother Esau. The clause here means literally every brother surely deceives. Here Jeremiah derives a huge judgment oracle from the name Jacob, just as Hosea had done. So there's that one. Then for the next verse 4, Jacob accuses Laban of having cheated him, Genesis 31:7, and thus it is likely that if Jeremiah in verse 3 reminds the hearer of that Jacob, deceived Esau, he reminds one here that Laban cheated Jacob. So if those two connections stand, then in the present verse 5, there is evidently another with fraud. This word appears twice in Genesis and not again in the Old Testament until 2 Kings. Isaac sadly reports to Esau that Jacob had taken his brother's blessing by fraud or deceitfully, which makes perfect sense because, yes. To which Esau replies with a wordplay on Jacob. And then it is said that the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and his fathers deceitfully because Shechem had defiled Dinah. Then the rest of it's just an extra note. So if he may be drawing these parallels to Jacob.
He might be.
Yeah.
Maybe. Take ye heed, everyone, of his neighbor. Okay, so everybody's a liar. They're evil.
Yes,
They'll
they are.
deceive everyone, his neighbor.
I knew
not
it.
Speak the truth. They taught themselves to speak lies and weary themselves to commit iniquity. Thine habitation is in the midst of deceit. Through deceit they refuse to know me, saith the Lord. Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, Behold!
Behold!
I will melt them and try them. For how shall I do for the daughter of my people? Their tongue is as an arrow shot out. It speaketh deceit. One speaketh peaceably to his neighbor with his mouth, but in his heart he layeth his wait. Shall I not visit them for these things, saith the Lord? Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? For the mountains will I take as a weeping and a wailing, and for the habitations of the wilderness a lamentation, because they are burned up, so that none can pass through them, neither can men hear the voice of the cattle. Both the fowl of the heaven and the beast are fled. They are gone, and I will make Jerusalem heaps. You know, how many...
Don't even start. Don't even start.
He's gonna get you.
And a den of dragons.
It's not dragons.
It's dragons.
I'm sure that it says dragons.
In the KJV.
Yes, I'm sure
And
that
it's
is.
dragons then. Done. Easy.
It's dragons.
Well,
man.
there's
it's
a
den of dragons. I will make the cities of Judah desolate without an inhabitant, except for the dragons, of course.
So a layer of jackals. Jackals.
Is it jackal? Is it jackal?
It's
a jackal.
dragons.
It's a jackal.
It's a jackal.
Where it's
jackal.
Although, let's be fair.
What's the commentary?
Well,
Does it not identify the jackals as not being
I'm
dragons?
currently, I'm pretty sure they're not the same thing. So
Same
okay,
kind.
there's no commentary there. All right, let's see where there is commentary. At least on the translation there of jackals. So
I wonder what the Jews say.
yeah, you wonder what the Jews say. You know, is there really nothing on that?
Nothing
I
from no one.
feel like there should be. I feel like there should be something.
Here's a comment. It says it's dragons, so it's dragons. Wow, what a comment.
Yeah, it's dragons, dude. It says dragons.
Oh,
I
so
don't know what
they
to
use
tell
it
you.
too. Interesting. All right, so that was verse 10.
It says a lair of jackals in the Jewish Holy Scriptures.
Okay. So the mention of Jerusalem comes on abruptly, but it is the city par excellence in contrast to the rural scene of verse 9. Does the notion that Yahweh belongs in Zion play a part here? It is not only modern artillery and bombs that reduce a city to rubble. Here we go. Okay, so the ancient warfare accomplished the same result. Compare Jesus' words regarding the temple buildings in Jerusalem in his day. The jackal, Canis aureus, haunts waste places far from human habitation. You can cross-reference Isaiah 34. You remember the jackals and the Lilith, and yeah.
Being thrown to the dogs is pretty similar, I guess, right?
That they should howl in the edifices of Jerusalem is horrifying. Compare similar words about Babylon in Isaiah 13:22. But nothing about any dragon translation.
Oh, what the hell, man?
Yeah, got
Why did the KJV?
use dragon. That's a good question.
Scarier than jackals?
It is scarier than jackals, man.
Yeah,
I'm
one
not
up-
worried about a jackal. I'm worried about a dragon.
Yeah, one-upmanship. It's just that.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
if you're
I'm
a
still
KJV only Christian, then that means that you believe in dragons, definitively.
Well, no, because they would interpret dragons to mean something else.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The dragons obviously are.
The thing is, I think it does mean something else, but
Not jackals.
Well, that probably does mean jackals.
It probably means jackals.
Guessing that the actual word means
jackal,
jackals.
it's jackal.
But it means dragon in the KJV.
Also, hold on. And I'm pretty sure that other times it's said actual jackal and not replaced it with
yes,
dragons.
it has. So specifically here, they're talking about a den of dragons for some reason.
Well, moving on.
Yeah, I'm calling it KJVEs. Okay, that's the language that they're using. It's not normal. No. Dragons are apparently like jackals now. A specific breed of jackal, maybe.
And yeah, there's sadly no other commentary on the whole jackal dragon thing. That's a bummer.
Ridiculous.
Man, that was the most exciting part, and we got nothing.
Maybe the believers don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Like, yeah, we know it says dragons.
In the KJV, and it's like I don't know. I mean, I can check.
do?
I can check this one. You can continue.
It's all mixed together. So good luck. Anyways, these dragons, man. Who is the wise man that may understand this? The linguistic choice? Oh, no. The actual decision to make the land desolate. That may understand this. And who is he to whom the mouth of the Lord hath spoken, and he may declare it? For what the land perisheth, and is burned up like the wilderness, that none passeth through. And the Lord saith, because they have forsaken my law, which I set before them, and they have not obeyed my voice, neither walked therein, but have walked after the imagination of their own heart, and after the Baalim, which their fathers taught them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord of
Damn
hosts.
those Baalim.
Yeah. Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, and the God of Israel. Behold.
Behold!
I will feed them, even this people, with wormwood, and give them water of gall to drink.
Yeah.
I will scatter them also among the heathen, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, and I will send a sword after them till I have consumed them. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider ye and call for the mourning women, that they may come, and send for cunning women, that they may come.
So before we start talking about women and coming, so let's talk about the previous verses there, because this is a different section, at least in the Hermenia commentary. So verses 14 through 15. Let's see. This judgment speech begins with the messenger formula and continues with phrases derived from 23:15. Quote, give them poisoned water to drink is found in A14, but its parallel, feed them wormwood, is found only here and in 23:15. Wormwood, or Artemisia herba alba, or a absinthium, is a low shrub with extremely bitter leaves and fruit used in folk medicine.
It's also used to make absinthe.
Yep.
That would make sense. Absinthium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever try absinthe?
Yeah.
It's all right.
I love it.
It's a little licorice.
Yeah, black licorice.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, I used to hate black licorice, but then started smoking double apple,
Oh, yeah.
and they lie to you. Okay, it tastes nothing like apples. All right,
Not two apples specifically.
specifically not two apples.
It's like twice the taste of an apple.
It's the apple peel, perhaps. They like to say, well, okay, it's not the apple. It's the taste of the apple peel. It's like, just say it's black licorice and fucking get it over with.
You're right.
Like, but either way, I do like it. Scatter them. Scatter them among nations is similar to a phrase in 30:11. Nations whom they / you have not known is found only otherwise in Ezekiel 32:9, though the same phrase using land is found 5 times in Jeremiah.
Man,
For example, 16:13.
Jeremiah really hates foreigners.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The phraseology of the last half of the verse is found otherwise only in 49:37 in the oracle against Elam. God states then that he will he will poison the people, exile them, and kill them in battle.
Until there are none left.
Yeah.
And, if God is always true to his word.
He changes his mind.
Oh, yeah. Including on those things that are supposed to be eternal decrees forever until the end of time.
Yeah, but we don't talk about that.
How convenient.
Changed his mind on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, you were getting to the women there.
These women who are coming.
Yeah. So as much as we appreciate that here, the translation used in Hermenia said, make inquiry and call the dirge women and let them come. And for the skilled women, send and let them hurry and pour it forth. So this is kind of a broken text in many places, at least, translation wise. There's a lot of textual notes, actually. Might get back to that.
But just so
way.
it's broken.
Yeah.
And let them make haste and take down a wailing for us, that our eyes may run down with tears and our eyelids gush out with waters. For a voice of wailing is heard out of Zion. I
actually did want to touch on a thing.
Okay.
So the women addressed in verse 19 are to be identified with the, in verse 19 they're addressed later. They're to be identified with the dirge women and skilled women, summoned in verse 16. Those told in verse 16 to summon the women are expected to address them, but the speech they are to give to the women is deferred till verse 19.
Which I'm about to get into.
Go ahead, read verse 19.
For a voice of wailing is heard out of Zion. How we are spoiled. We are greatly confounded because we have forsaken the land, because our dwellings have cast us out.
All right. So continuing on here, the word translated here, dirge women, is a unique feminine participle. The verb is evidently a denominative. The participle then means one who chants dirge, the Irish keener. The parallel here is literally wise woman. This is the only reference in the Old Testament to professional mourning women, but Jerome remarks in the 4th century, this custom continues everywhere in Judea today. Women scatter their hair and bare their breasts and then adjust their voice to rouse everyone to weeping. Okay, so that's what we're talking about.
All right.
Professional mourners.
Professional mourners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta have someone to mourn.
Of course.
And if you were an asshole, no one's going to mourn.
And now they're mourning the loss of their land.
Yeah.
Yet, hear the word of the Lord, O ye women, and let your ear receive the word of his mouth, and teach your daughters wailing, and every one her neighbor lamentation. For death is to come up into our windows, and is entered into our places, or palaces, to cut off the children from without, and the young men from the streets. Speak, thus saith the Lord, even the carcasses of men shall fall as dung upon the open field, and the handful after the harvest man, and none shall gather them.
See, I was waiting for the return of the dung on the open field.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What a great metaphor.
The lament begins with a personification of death. Since there was a god Mot who functioned in the Ugaritic pantheon as the archenemy of Baal, there has been widespread discussion on the relation between the present passage and the Ugaritic texts. Thus, it was suggested by Umberto Cassuto that when Baal does not want to put a window in his palace, it is because he wants to prevent Mot from kidnapping his daughters, and several later scholars picked up the idea. Linked with this suggestion is the proposal that our citadels in verse 20 should be amended to our lattices on the basis of the Ugaritic text. These proposals, however, are not justified for the soundness of the expression our citadels, see below. We don't really need to get into that.
So these bodies are not treated well also. They're not buried with their fathers. They're just left to rot.
Mm-hmm.
in the fields.
A far closer parallel is offered by Babylonian texts contemporaneous with Jeremiah, which refer to a demon Lamashtu, which I did cover in the Lilith video.
You should go see it, viewers,
after
this.
Who enters through windows and climbs over walls to prey on infants and young people. In any event, if Jeremiah's image of death was based on Cain, and that's why I think that there's kind of like a convergence between Lamashtu and Lilith 2, because they are distinctively different beings. But go watch the video when you can. Either way, let's see. In any event, if Jeremiah's image of death was based on Canaanite patterns, he may well be suggesting, ironically, that if the people resort to Baal, it is Baal's enemy that will respond. Death implies pestilence. Carrying off children, the infant mortality rate in those times must have been tragically high. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Canaanite mythological background is responsible not only for the personification of death here, but elsewhere. Many cultures have personified death, but this passage was the specific stimulus for rabbinic speculation on the angel of death, and stimulated by the image of the four horsemen in Revelation 6:8. Not exactly. So it passed into Christian symbolism as the reaper, particularly after the time of the Black Death in the 14th century. That makes sense.
Well, there you go. It's right here. This death coming up into our windows. I'll continue then. Speak, thus saith the Lord, even the carcasses of men shall... Okay, I read that one. Thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord. Really loving kindness, abandoning all human beings to suffer, and then sending a sword after them until you've consumed them.
Classic.
Really modest verse here.
Classic.
Yeah, humble, the humility of God. And the only thing that you should care about is knowing God, of course, because it's the only glorious thing.
That's the only thing that's to save you from exile.
Mm-hmm. Behold.
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 The days come, saith the Lord, that I will punish all them which are circumcised with the uncircumcised, Egypt and Judah and Edom and the children of Ammon and Moab and all that are in the utmost corners that dwell in the wilderness. For these nations are uncircumcised, and all the house of Israel are uncircumcised in the heart.
Yeah, so lots of circumcision talk.
Yeah, obviously the circumcision being representative of the deals with God.
Yes. Yeah. So the most remarkable single feature of this passage is the listing of Judah second after Egypt and before Edom. This curiosity led to the main uncials, I think, unicles, I've heard it pronounced different ways, but they're manuscripts of Greek to read Idumayan for Judayan. So Idumea for Judah here, thus leading the two references to Edom. Just leading to two references to Edom. There is no conceivable way this series could have arisen in the period after Jeremiah's time. The present passage points to a particular political situation at the end of the Judean monarchy when a purely political listing could be offered in a geographic series. Egypt, then Judah, then the Transjordan states, then Arab tribes. Rudolph, scholar, is undoubtedly correct in his proposal that one has here evidence of an anti-Babylonian coalition led by Egypt, which would make sense if you reference, stuff like Isaiah, even where the Jews were said to be getting their horses from Egypt.
And where they talked about building a highway in like a future utopian setting with Egypt and Assyria getting along with Judah.
One can, even though the evidence for such a coalition is otherwise lacking, the textual evidence is kind of strong, I'd say. But either way, one can imagine the slogan, the circumcised against the uncircumcised, with the inherent assumption that divine favor was on the side of all circumcised nations, which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
It is noteworthy that alongside the designation Edom and Moab, the Old Testament almost always refers to Ammon as children of Ammon. The origin of this distinction is somewhat obscure, but reflects the Ammonites' own self-designation. Recently discovered Ammonite inscriptional material offers several occurrences of the phrase "children of Ammon," which is kind of cool because we rarely get like extra biblical texts that refer to them by like a group name.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that's part of the reason why a lot of scholars are coming to the conclusion that Canaanite's just a bad term, because we don't have any writings from any Canaanites calling themselves Canaanites.
Maybe it's a
slang
derogatory term.
No, it pretty much just meant non-Israelite.
Oh. Well, that's it for our readings today. We hope you enjoyed the stream today. If you did, check out our Patreon. $1 a month will get you access to all of our scripts. We got a script up there for the Quran video that's going to be coming out this week.
Yeah, definitely this week.
And
video's edited. It's an hour long, but you know what? There's a lot of information in there.
Yeah, and we will be starting the Quran show soon.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. It would be on Saturdays, but yeah,
same time slot.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're prepared for that. Slot at least.
Yeah, we got to figure out the division of how we're going to read through it exactly.
Yeah, because
it's
a
long
mess.
first episode. That's how those are.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but you can also check us out for $50 a month. You can be on this show, any of our weekly shows once a month. For $10 a month. You could get a T-shirt. You know, we give away the T-shirt at the beginning of the month, and you could win it. You get entered into the T-shirt giveaway if you're $10 patron or above. That's true. $20 a month.
Friday gonna be our Christmas episode.
Oh my God! You know what I forgot? Yesterday, I think, was our 6-year anniversary here on this channel.
Happy
shit.
birthday, Milwaukee Atheist.
Oh wow!
Atheist
we
community
missed
of
another
Milwaukee.
specialty.
Yeah. Either way, 6 years doing this.
Ugh.
Huh?
That's you.
Only
man.
6 more years.
Oh yeah, that is.
That's you.
Yeah.
I've been there for
Interesting.
90%, 80%, something like that. I was there.
For most of it, I would say. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we got Facebook and Twitter. Free to follow us on there. Yeah. Other than that, that's all the shilling and stuff. Wish list.
Yeah,
Lots
that's
of cool
it,
books.
man.
Yeah. All right. Either way, thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you on Friday
and then Sunday,
also Sunday,
maybe Saturday.
sometime.
See you multiple days.